What's going on, world? Welcome to a new release Wednesday show. It's Patrick
and Rob,
where we give you the NEW from the NRW. If you're seeing things a little different because you know we have some hosts on here now besides ourselves, we're kind of like, the back production side of the team. It's because we want to talk about some changes that we're doing again. If you've been following us since 2013, we've gone on a lot of different iterations. We've tried to mix up the show, try to figure out exactly how we want this to roll, and we're going to do it again until we do it another time. So it's only to make it better because we want it better for you, and we want you to follow us and like us and subscribe us because it makes us feel good.
But we're going to cuss.
Yes, we're going to. He may not like it.
I'm okay.
Are you okay with it? Okay. Because I saw how you were with Brandy and Liz a couple of episodes before.
Well,
when they talk about, dick and shit. And there I go. I already messed up. I already brought it in, but fuck it. That's what we're doing now. So, if we're doing it differently now, let's bring in our hosts who love to curse and give us their thoughts.
Hell yeah.
Brandy and Liz. So
I'm free. She's shaking her booty in freedom.
We're mixing it all up.
Free at last. Thank God Almighty, she can shake that ass. All right.
We've kind of felt that the regular New Release Wednesday show, which evolved into now kind of more so being the NSFW show, was just like a trailer, right?
Yeah.
So we kind of just want to keep it all up front.
I mean, we didn't mind teasing you guys, but honestly, why tease you? Why tease you? Let's just give you
Let's go in hard,
Ooh.
all in.
See, you're already making him look red. He's already turning red.
Sorry, Rob.
This is the internet. Whatever. Fuck it.
My chains are off now, so it's like,
she has been unleashed. So what? This is like New Release Wednesday Unleashed.
I like
Or
this.
actually, because we're going back to how it used to be, I guess you could say it's a homecoming.
Oh. I see what you did there.
You see what I did?
I dig it.
I think we all saw Homecoming.
Yes.
Probably within the first 2 days.
Yes.
So let's go ahead and get this out of the way. Raise your hand if you thought it was a really good movie. Okay? We're in agreement. Woo!
Yes.
So hands up.
So
Yeah.
for the uninitiated, I guess. So we touched upon it a little bit last week.
Yeah.
The different iterations. We'll do this very fast. We had the Tobey Maguire stuff.
Yeah.
Okay, it was alright. 2 is probably the better of the 3.
That was a lot
3
better.
should not exist in any form, fashion, or whatever.
It's like the third Godfather.
Yeah, it is. But 2 was the Sandman battle on top of the train is just awesome. I want that again. And we kind of had it. Well, we had some good moments in this one. But and then the Amazing Spider-Man stuff with Andrew Garfield, a little too sexy for Peter Parker, I would say. I think Tobey was on point, was okay.
Yeah, I have to agree.
Garfield was a little sexy, better as Spider-Man. But this kid,
nobody hates
Tom Holland.
No, he was well-rounded.
Bruh.
Nailed it. Because in the first iteration, I felt like he was a great Peter Parker, but I didn't necessarily like him as Spider-Man.
Yes.
Andrew Garfield, I liked as Spider-Man, but
too cool, too suave.
as Peter Parker, Rob had some opinions on it that I think were just
Okay, so the first movie, right? He's with his real life girlfriend and goes in to kiss her, and she says no. And then he giggles, turns to the side, and goes back to kiss her, and she says no. And he does that 3 or 4 fucking times. So like the Twilight romance, which is not romance, Peter Parker is a sexual predator.
Right, it's like consent. She said no. I mean, how many times you guys say it?
apparently a lot
It
because
just wasn't cool. Like
He
the
had what, 8
skateboarding,
years?
whatever with the skateboarding, like I guess it fits the character, but it's not really fitting the character at all. And like this one, let's talk about nailing everything about that dance, man. Everything with him showing up, realizing what's going on. He's like, I'm sorry, I got the biggest crush. I've got to leave. Let's talk about the power and responsibility without saying
the moments.
The power and responsibility.
they let him be a 15-year-old
Yes.
experiencing life from a 15-year-old's point of view and all the things that he would go through. It's amazing to watch him in this because I really and truly feel like just across the board, he nailed it. You felt for him.
Yeah.
You wanted to see him succeed. I loved him as Peter Parker. I loved him as Spider-Man. This was the first Spider-Man where I just felt like this was the comics coming off the page and put on film.
I agree.
It was amazing.
I'm gonna cut you off right there because there's a lot of positive. I think we all
There's a lot of positive, but I got some negatives.
Exactly.
I got
So
some
let's
negatives.
throw the negatives before we really bring it back to the positive, our absolute positive.
Yeah, I think my biggest issue was Kevin Feige has been saying a million times that what's her name? Zendaya was not MJ.
Quote unquote
Like,
MJ.
not
Even though
MJ,
they kind of
not
gave
MJ.
us, it was a nugget tease.
And then her name's Michelle, and everyone's like, okay, her name's Michelle. And then that last part, and she's like, well, my friends call me MJ. I literally stared at a screen like, are you fucking serious? Like, you just said it wasn't MJ.
Yeah.
All right, now you're MJ, but you're not Mary Jane, or you're Michelle Jane.
Yeah.
So maybe it's a different
I was happy
dimension.
about that, and then until I read after the film that that was just them fucking with us. I'm like,
Yeah.
really?
Yeah,
I think she would have been awesome as MJ,
He said,
even though
oh,
it's
no,
not the
she's not really
stereotypical
MJ.
MJ.
We just thought it'd be funny.
Then why
I'm
fuck
like,
with us?
And that's
Yeah.
what pissed me off is like, either why say before the movie she's not MJ,
Yes.
then throw in MJ to just kind of poke the fans,
Yes.
and then
Because
say,
they don't want people picking it apart. They want it to be some surprise at the end. Not worth the investment.
But
Yeah.
was she worth being in the film? And that was my friends and I talked about it afterwards. Was you could have deleted her from the movie, and it would not have stopped the flow of anything.
Right.
You couldn't delete Liz. You couldn't delete
Yeah.
Ned. You couldn't do the like they all.
I don't know
moved
why he
forward.
had to be Ned, and he couldn't be Gang.
I was getting ready to say that.
From
They made him Ned Leeds,
yeah,
which is a popular Spider-Man character in the
He
mythos,
stole-
yeah.
but
so,
he's
like,
really the archetype of Gank from the Ultimate Spider-Man.
Yeah.
Why couldn't he have been Gank?
yeah. That's
Yeah, I just think it's a waste of her because she's such a great actress.
Great actor though, well done.
Yeah, so
Yeah.
Zendaya's like I actually really like her Disney show. So
Oh, yeah.
I actually I really love her as an actress, and
Yeah.
she was such a throwaway character, and it irritated me.
I mean, unless
But-
they were setting it up for Peter to have a type of girl that he goes for,
Yeah.
because obviously, you know, you
I
see
think
the
it was
first
a
girl
setup.
he goes for, and then you have Zendaya come in, and it's like, okay, maybe I can see where this is going. But I do agree, she was the lamp. She didn't really do anything but stand there.
I will say the using background characters properly. What I loved was Prowler
Oh
and Scorpion
Oh,
and
yeah.
Tinkerer.
I was gonna allude to that in my favorite moments.
Keaton killed
Yeah.
it. Keaton slayed it, and when he's
He did.
on the car ride, when he's actually putting 1 and 2 together,
Yeah.
He's like, I'm gonna kill this kid.
Yeah.
I know he's 15,
Yeah.
but I'm still gonna kill him for my
Right.
family. I'm like,
We're supposed to be
right.
talking about negatives first before we get.
I can't help it.
Yeah, I know. There's a lot of good. There's a lot of good.
It's-
There's a lot of
Do you have well? Then do you have a negative?
Honestly, I went into this movie not having watched any of the trailers, not having read anything about it because I wasn't looking forward to it. I just wanted to be surprised, and I was pleasantly surprised with
Okay.
most of it. I think, you know, there were a couple moments, and most of it unfortunately had to do with the characters that I felt were throwaway characters. But I'm probably one of the few people that say, I just liked the whole movie. Because I did. I loved it, and I was giggling the whole time, and it was good. It was good. It was what I needed.
Do you have any, Rob?
We've hit on him. It's
Yeah.
Well, I have a couple before
Complete
before we
love letter.
before we shut her
Yeah.
to throw all the adoration on it.
Okay.
Spider sense.
And remember, I said in the
Oh,
last episode, there's been now
he's-
one indication they were going to talk about that.
He's on the yacht and he eyeballs everything, and I'm gonna.
Or
argue.
was that the suit?
But that's the suit, though.
And that's what I'm thinking.
And I mean,
And that's where I'm kind of mixed up between
Jennifer
all that.
Connelly may have read the list off to him, but at the same time, like, he still had to stop, slow down to look at it. It's not just regular camera panning the way that it is right now. So I would debate that was a
That
moment
we
of-
don't,
And
but
they
so we don't know
said-
for certain.
Maybe
I read an
cinematic
article
liberty.
today saying
Okay.
that they told everyone they were not going to touch on it in this movie, but that doesn't mean they're not going to touch on it for future
Right,
movies.
and he's
Okay.
15. So
Yeah.
theoretically, if you look at the timeline of when Peter was bit by the radioactive spider, or if it was a genetically enhanced spider, whatever the hell they wanted to do with it. I mean, from the time that he was bit, you have to assume that all of his amazing abilities aren't going to just immediately show up. I mean, over time, things can develop, other things can happen, and we may see that in a future movie. But it didn't really bother me that we didn't see that here. And one of the other things that I have seen people complain about was, oh, they didn't even bring up Uncle Ben.
We don't need another
No.
Uncle Ben story. We don't
And
need
I'm
it.
kind of okay
Yeah.
with that.
Yeah.
Like, it's having him,
We
he has
already
already become Spider-Man.
Yeah.
And that's the thing. Him seeing Uncle Ben, oh, Uncle Ben's dead, like that helps him to become Spider-Man.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
he is already Spider-Man. He has made that change over. His life is altered. So
How many times do you need to see Uncle Ben die? How many times do you need, like I said before,
It's
how
like
many
the
Bruce and Martha.
sadist in me wants to see it all the time.
Well, like Batman's parents, like I said before, like if I see those pearls slow motion falling off of her neck one more time, I'm like, we know they're dead. We know why Batman is
Marissa Tomei complained today that a scene got cut that she was in, and apparently she sees some girls being treated like crap. She steps in, Peter sees this, and then it's one of those things, they get home and they both lie to each other. Her heart's racing because she just got into a fight in Queens, but she's not going to tell Peter about it. Peter's heart's racing because of his internship. And she went on to say that like this was something that she would felt like, okay, this embeds a bit of that heroic drive. So beyond the power and responsibility speech, here's her example.
I see exactly where that would have cut in by what you said.
We'll get into bonus feature.
Yeah. I would hope so. That would be good.
They're really good at giving us our cutscenes, except for I don't know, Ultron. You didn't give me any of my Loki scenes that I asked for, even though you took Tom Hiddleston recorded Loki scenes and didn't put anything on the second on the DVD. Whatever. Continue.
So favorite moment then, or other than what we've already discussed?
Miles Morales' future suit at the very end.
So you think that's going to be his suit?
I think somehow Miles is miraculously going to have LOL a suit to step into.
So I'm gonna fast forward to the actual first part of it where we got Donald Glover as now the uncle when he was the voice of Miles. He's now the uncle as Prowler.
Which I'm glad they did because he's
so Miles
such
exists
an older
in the universe.
character, and they kept saying we want to play Miles. I'm like, I really he's too old.
Yeah.
So
he's an awesome person.
He campaigned in 2010. Why couldn't I be Spider-Man? It's something I guess with Community. I don't know.
Yeah.
Whatever, but. That he was a big inspiration when Bendis created Miles.
Yeah.
And he voiced him.
Then he voiced it.
And now he gets to be Uncle Aaron. He gets to be the Prowler.
Love it.
Baller. Good on you, David. We're
So,
happy for you, man.
Your favorite moment?
Well, that was it.
Oh,
I fast forward. So his was the suit. He had the suit. Mine goes with yours. Mine was the moment before the suit with Donald Glover saying, my nephew, and that was it. Yes! He exists!
Huge.
So, yeah.
I don't have one specific favorite moment for mine, and I know you're going to appreciate this, but a lot of my favorite moments
I have another one. I just
were
remembered.
really they were involving Aunt May just being the aunt, and in the restaurant talking with each other, and all that, and then in the bodega. And just seeing like this actual New York bodega, and they did it well, and you have the shop owner who just in front of everybody is just talking. Oh yeah, no, the hot Italian I mean, it was just the little things like that that give the movie a sense of realism and charm, and those were just fantastic. And I mean, the other one was when we already touched on it in the car when Keaton's character
best horrific scene ever, one of the best
realizes and like the gears turn and click into place. And he was
like, you just don't want to say, Liz, shut up, Liz, shut up, Liz.
He was fucking frightening.
Terrifying.
And I have to say, like, Keaton, honestly, in the last few years, his best movies have been when he has some sort of wings. Batman, Birdman. I mean, and now he's Vulture, and it's just,
God, this man wings, man.
Killed it.
He's like an angel.
He absolutely killed it. And even then, up to the end, when he doesn't turn on Peter in the prison.
Can we rejoice that they finally don't kill the fucking villains at the end?
Yes.
So we can see Keaton again.
Yes.
We can possibly see him bring the Sinister Six together.
Oh, shit! So no, those. I mean, it was really like a multitude of moments. And I'm sorry, you know me. I don't follow by the rules. The rules. So those were my moments.
I have a lot of moments, but I think my favorite was Spider-Man is right after Civil War.
Yes.
So you still see the bruise of Iron Man, still the rawness of what happened between him and Captain
that opening
America.
was beautiful.
And you know that there's time has passed, and the way, and if I recall, I heard he still had a prototype for Cap's shield that was going to be in there, which means in my heart they've come to a peace where he's still making shields for him and whatnot.
Or they have a new captain.
I mean, they have. It's like we do have a Winter Soldier in oh my gosh, Anthony. But the scene that really touched me was literally the homage back and forth of when Captain America and Iron Man in Avengers and they fight. And he says, "What are you without your suit?" And Iron Man's like playboy, like a rich, whatever, a billionaire, and
Playboy, philanthropist, billionaire.
And he does the same thing Cap did to him, because I think it did wake him up to Spider-Man and said, "What are you
I didn't even
about?"
realize that now.
No, that was and he says, "What are you without that suit?" And I was like, "He learned. He was an active listener."
Yes.
So that to me, I think I was the only one in the audience. That's what they were like. Did anybody get that? Because he legit was telling this kid the same thing he was told.
So, yeah. Speaking of active listening, something that friends of mine brought up online. So Civil War takes place in 2012.
Okay.
And they show that, and then it's like, what was it? 8 years later is what it said. Guys, that's 2020. 2020. We are watching the future. I didn't get that. We're fucking watching the future. Sorry, it's little and it's wibbly wobbly and tiny wimey and fuck.
I got 2 more before we sign
No, but I
off.
have one hate.
Okay,
I forgot it. Whoop. So why the hell did we not have a Thor Ragnarok after credit scene?
Because the majesty of Captain America.
No,
Too goddamn funny.
Bruh, that was awesome.
Every after credit
Yes.
scene has some kind of connection in a way, and the patience thing had me in tears, and the whole Aunt May going, "What the fuck?"
Probably
that
it's
was
a Marvel movie, and Sony wasn't even playing that Marvel logo for the longest time.
They did not.
Yeah.
That's a good
on the front end and on the back end, so that's kind of
Okay. All right. Well, I really wanted my Thor Ragnarok kind of teaser because I really wanted it.
I would have loved that too. However, I am happy with what they put in there. All those little nods to the old Cap, like PSAs from schools and all that.
He's probably a criminal now, but whatever.
Yes.
And they mentioned that. They mentioned
Brilliant
that.
stuff.
But that was glorious.
All right, your 2 little things.
What 2 little things? The when he was buried by the Vulture, the throwbacks to classic Romita stuff that we had not yet seen in the Spider-Man film.
That's perfect.
That, oh my god, because it's an iconic moment that always happens. And then going back to Iron Man, which I'm happy there wasn't too much Iron Man. We all thought that was what's going to be. Especially in the trailers. We didn't see him flying around like they did. That was just cut for the trailer.
He was the mentor. He was the
ending.
The push.
I would debate. It's lovely to see
So,
Peter Potts.
and that's what I was going to say. The fact that they brought them 2 together, because I love the 2 of them.
Because I know
we have a happy
Ultron
Tony now.
threw it away like, no, they're not really together anymore, or she's away, and then Jane Foster and Thor are together.
It's not a Marvel movie.
Yeah.
So at what point, what money did Sony offer Gwyneth Paltrow to come back? And who cares? It's a happy ending, and after Civil War, Tony needed a. I don't want to crack the joke. Never mind. I can hear where this is going.
Needed a little iron.
Speaking of happy endings, could I also just say how much it made my heart sing to see Jon Favreau as Happy actually get more time.
More love. He's a great actor.
He really is. I mean, he's a great director, but he's also
the relationship with him and Peter. And Tony wanted him to go. Like,
especially
I gotta go.
Just walk behind. No. Further back. Just step back. Fall back. I was like, oh.
Yes.
He's an awesome character.
Yes, and I'm glad they gave him his dues because I think that he really deserved that. I think that portion of character really helped to round out the story that was told.
Yes.
In really developing Peter as Spider-Man, watching him, take a couple of steps and growing up, having Iron Man as the mentor because he does not have a father figure at this point. So, Tony Stark is essentially stepping in as that father figure, which who would have thought the drunk playboy philanthropist billionaire would have stepped in to do that? Why do I really want to say, he's not your daddy, but he's your father? I mean,
I don't know about you guys. I can't wait to see it again. Yeah. I'm gonna take Rob. We're gonna let you guys finish the show.
All right, you guys. Y'all are doing.
Well, you gotta do your picks. Let's go do your
you.
picks. We're gonna throw it to Rob's picks, and then we'll be back.
All right, picks.
Whatever.
We'll be next. Just go do it. It's our show.
See this? They just leave us, right?
All right, so my 3 that are coming out tomorrow, July 12th, starting off with Black Cloud 4. It's by Jason Latour, Evan Brandon, and Greg Hinkle. And the team were all sitting next to each other at Heroes Con, and I really, really wish that I'd brought comics into Heroes Con, and I had a box of 30 in my car and just left them in my car the entire weekend. Black Cloud, they kicked it off this year. They're maintaining an awesome monthly schedule with it, and it's Inception. And how does issue 4 start out? The main character herself is now stuck in the real world, and how does she deal with it? I'd go into greater elaboration, but off the top of my head, that's what I can glean off of everything I've read on the internet right now. I'm enjoying it. It's by Jason Latour. I'm going to buy anything the damn boy puts out, so you should do it as well. It's money well spent. Second pick that I've got, Spider-Man 2, Issue 1, by Brian Michael Bendis and Sarah Pichelli. In 2000, when they launched the Ultimate Universe, Joe Quesada's like, we will never have the Ultimate Universe merge with the original universe, because then at that point we are out of ideas. So in 2013, Marvel ran out of ideas, and the Ultimate Mysterio, who was a completely different take on it in the Ultimate Universe, is jumping dimensions, because why the F not, comics. And Peter Parker made his way and met Miles Morales, and that's how Miles got web shooters or web fluid, something like that. It was a fun story. It's cute heart. It was one of those things that Brian's clearly just, it's a labor of love from the dude, and his enthusiasm is so infectious. It made for a great book. Pete comes back to whatever Earth baseline 616, got it, Google's Miles Morales, says, oh my god, and we're out of ideas again because it's 2017, and now we're going to meet the Miles of the 616, even though Miles is in this and Spider-Gwen is not, but she's in a parallel universe, so they jump back and forth all the time, and Jason Latour writes Spider-Gwen, so you should go read that anyway, and it's a lot of fun. Whatever. Like, this, Bendis writes a damn charming Spider-Man, so go pick that up. I highly, highly am all about it. Cannot wait to see it. Third one, Harbinger Renegade 5 by Rafir Roberts and Derek Robertson. This is a Valiant book. Patrick is the Valiant fan. I can spell it. I don't know Valiant. I'm behind the times on this, but my buddy Derek is doing the pens. Issue 5 of Harbinger Renegade. I think it's a more frequent revamp. I couldn't tell you. But this is what they're advertising as a perfect jumping on point. So, if you're missing your Derek Robertson art, which if you're like me, you're missing your Derek Robertson art, then you should go pick up Harbinger Renegade 5. I'm going to do that.
You're going to try it now? You're going to get on the Valiant bandwagon?
I it didn't dawn on me that he was doing this book. So if I had, then I would have picked it up to support my buddy and get to know a brand new universe of characters, which from everything that I sounds like, they're bringing all their stuff together. They're doing their own Avengers, except this one kicks off with a murder. And if it's drawn by Derek, it's going to be a damn good looking murder.
Okay, so if you can't tell, guys, we're a little excited about Game of Thrones. Yeah, so
happy.
While we're excited, we're also a little saddened because we know that the end is coming. Yeah. Winter is coming.
And winter is here.
That's some scare shit.
It's here, guys.
And the first half of the final season is upon us. Sunday, July 16th, HBO, it's coming.
That makes noises, apparently. Now we know. But yeah, so we're getting our new season this Sunday. It's going to be, I am a huge Cersei fan. I cosplay Cersei. Cersei's kind of my life.
Hey, me too. This is why we love each other, right? For many reasons.
So I know she's gonna get it. She's gonna get it in the end. I kind of really would love to see her, the last person standing somewhere in the woods after everything's destroyed and drinking wine. I think that'd be hilarious. But we all know everyone in the show's gonna die, so love no one.
I mean, yeah, George R.R. Martin has pretty much just shown us that if you come to love somebody, they're going to die a horrible death, and the more you love them, the worse it's going to be. And so I fear for Tyrion. I fear for him so much.
No.
But
it's gonna be a slaughter.
Yeah. Each character that you love, just be prepared, guys. Because you know that the way this works is that the second to the last episode of every season is the one that just fucks with you.
Yes.
Whether it is Ned Stark getting beheaded, whether it's the Red Wedding, like they're literally the second to the last episode is always the why am I continuing with life? Like, is it worth it anymore? But even though they're shorter seasons, they are going to be much, much longer episodes, right?
Right, so it's interesting how they've decided to make longer episodes, but not as many episodes. So I think we're getting like something along the lines of 7 episodes this season, and then next season, which is really like a 0.5 season, and it'll be like 8 episodes. But they'll be like movie length, like 2 hours long.
Which is going to be amazing because somebody who really likes to binge watch stuff, I need to know what's happening next. I feel like I'm going to be happy getting more of the storyline in one sitting. Yeah. However, I think for those of us who work jobs where we have to be up early in the morning, it's also going to suck. It's going to
hurt.
Because I'm going to stay up to watch it, and then I am not going to be able to fall asleep because I'm going to be so excited, anxious, or angry about what I've just seen. That it's just not going to happen.
And it's like 2 shows I have to watch on Sunday because every coworker on the face of Planet talks. It's Walking Dead and the Game of Thrones. So I can't DVR that. And I know a lot of other people. And of course, we have all the schmucks on like the social media who are like, "Oh, you should have watched it on time, and I'm gonna just talk about it online."
I know everything first because I'm cooler than you. Like it's this latest attitude that I don't like. It drives me nuts. When Rob and I were in California, we actually went over to a friend's house because we did not have HBO, but our wonderful friends across the cul-de-sac from us did, and so we would have our little Game of Thrones viewing party and just lament at the end with jaws agape and just
crying. And everyone is in the same boat. We've been in the same boat a few episodes now. I'm a book reader of the Game of Thrones, and then I watch the show. So we're all lost now because this is way past the book. So the book readers can't, because I'll be there like, Red Wedding is coming up. I'm like, yeah, I know what's going on. And people will be like screaming. I'm like, yeah, I already read that. It's already a thing.
Yeah, we knew that as happening.
But
George R. Martin, it's
scared.
But he did talk with the show's producers and basically was like, here's how I would like to end the books, even though he's been dragging his ass on this and not finishing the damn books.
I don't think we're honestly ever going to see the end of the books. I think and now there are talks about the prequel show they want to do, which fuck, I'm going to watch the hell out of that, so I don't even care. But it makes me think there's no indication that the next book, because there's still 2 books left,
right,
under the previous structure. So it's taken years to get this last one out, and I'm like, I don't know if we're ever going to get the actual books.
I mean, I know he was writing something in the interim as well that wasn't the Game of Thrones plot. It just, ugh.
Yeah, so Game of Thrones
torturing us.
Coming out.
Yes.
Tell us in your comments, what is your favorite character? Like I told you, mine is Cersei.
And what is, for me, I want to know what was your biggest what the fuck moment of any season.
Yes.
I don't care which one it was. Like your ultimate moment. Like, I need to know.
Yeah. I love it. All right, guys. Game of Thrones.
My first pick for the week is something that I just kind of found, and I don't know a whole lot about it, but I'm really looking to see, where this is going to go. So, we talked in a different segment about how musicians have taken on these other roles, and what we're looking at now, I think Lights is the name, it's music, and it's, for this particular comic, Lights is the writer, the artist, does the cover. So it's called Skin and Earth #1, and it so far seems to be like it's going to be kind of kitschy, and it's about romance and the end of the world and post-apocalyptic stuff and gods and mortals and, all the things that I tend to gravitate towards anyways. The art for the cover looks simple but really pretty. And I like seeing people branch out and do different things. And apparently this comic is also going to coincide with the release of an album. So, it seems like it would be a really cool experience. How does this all blend together? How is this going to work? How does this album fit in with the comic book release? So, I'm curious to see how this one is going to turn out. My second pick is Dread Gods #1, and it's going to be a limited run. It's one of 3. It's IDW, and it's written by Ron Mars, and you may know him from writing Green Lantern. He has written Witchblade, And the art for it is going to be Tom Rainey, who did Alpha Flight and like Uncanny X-Men, and he did a couple different X-Men. And then Bart, dude, Thor,
Loki.
Seriously. And if you have met Tom Rainey at a convention, because he does a lot of them, he is just the like genuine, soft-spoken,
rock star,
really awesome,
Great dude.
Total rock star of a guy.
We love you, Tom.
Love you, Tom.
Always remembers a face and a name, and I get the waves and the how's it going and the occasional hug, which I'm not gonna lie, I appreciate. And then Bart Sears is also going to be on this one as well. He's going to be bringing his masterful hand to some of the art on this. So Dread Gods is set in a fantasy world, and again, post-apocalyptic, y'all know me. It's a bunch of gods that discover that they're monsters in this post-apocalyptic world, and how is this all gonna go down? I mean, when you think one way of yourself your entire life, and suddenly you're showing your reflection in the mirror and you aren't who you thought you were, how does that affect you? How does that affect how you perceive the world and how you go about trying to affect it? Again, great writer who's on this one, and extraordinary art that's going to be in this one. Definitely looking forward to it. Dread Gods #1. And then my final pick, alright guys, so this is going to be a little bit of a background for you. If you have been keeping up with any of the Batman universe, you know that there's some shit that's about to go down. Scott Snyder has been on Batman. He just basically ended 1 through 50 of the most recent Batman run, and now we're getting into what is being billed as essentially the biggest thing to happen this summer. So we've already seen The Forge, so Dark Days The Forge, and that came out back in June, and that was the one shot, and now we have the next one shot coming out, which is Dark Days The Casting. And this is your lead up to Dark Knight's Metal, which I'm really gonna have to read this to you because I don't want to screw it up, and this to me I think speaks volumes about how much they're trying to hype this. Scott Snyder is quoted as saying, "I've been planning Metal for as long as I've been writing Batman, but this is bigger than Batman. Greg, as in Greg Capullo, who is doing art, and I started dropping clues during Court of Owls. We continued through our Joker stories, and we placed our biggest hints in the run that culminated with Batman 50. And now we're back to tell a story that breaks everything apart. This will be the definitive project of our careers." Like, if that doesn't say something to you, like, this is how much stock they're putting into it. This is how much effort they've been putting into it. Greg and I will dig beneath the surface of all the stories we've told to find a place of terror and twisted nightmares. And so the casting is basically where Batman comes face to face with Green Lantern and with Duke, and figuring out like what the next step is. I mean, are they going to be able to trust one another? Where is all of this leading? Because we've seen what's been going on in all this Batman lead up. So this is your next one shot. This is basically the final step before Metal starts. And they are putting so much hype into this. They are doing midnight release parties at various comic book stores. And so basically you just call your comic book store, see if they're going to be having something. It's going to be on August 16th. If they will have it, there's going to be lithographs by Greg Capullo. This is supposed to be like the freaking event of the summer. And according to Scott Snyder, this is going to be the event of his life. So when you have somebody who is as well known as he is, and I have loved his stuff. I used to read American Vampire. That was one of my favorites. It was a little different. It was out of the norm. So just his writing style in general, so good. Seriously, so good. When somebody with that kind of clout comes and says, guys, this is my child. I mean, the man has legit been planning this with Greg Capullo for years. Years. just to have it culminate in this one event. So pick up The Forge if you haven't done that. That's already out. Go get Dark Days the casting and get your asses ready for what is set to be a fucking epic storyline.
Yeah.
Girl, you throw me.
You throwing me.
I know. Netflix has been putting out so many different comic-related things lately, and it's been amazing to see. And if you haven't heard, they have now picked up the latest of their comic installments. If you haven't read Umbrella Academy, it's been out for a really long time, and Netflix has now picked it up as a series. So the comic book itself is by Gerard Way, who is of My Chemical Romance fame, and art is by Gabriel Bay. Okay. We're going to say Bay.
We're going to say Bay.
Bay.
Hi, Bay.
Could be Bob, but we're going to go
could
Bay.
be.
We're going to go with Bay.
I like Bay. It makes me feel good. But it's going to be a 10-episode installment, and basically it's been in development for the last 2 years, and Netflix finally went, yes, we would like to take this. So the storyline itself is essentially about a group of kids who are a family who are investigating their father's death, but they're having a really hard time getting along, so they're trying to solve this murder without essentially tearing each other apart.
Right, and that's kind of what I remember years ago of actually, and I've never finished the story, but I just know that all the kids, it's a very unconventional superhero story where all these kids are kind of like, they all have their own problems and they're all trying to work together, but it's not working out well because their personalities and just the way they're handling the situation. Of course, the PTSD of the issue of their father dying has also caused like a ripple, but that's what I remember from it.
Right, and the comic book itself was Eisner Award winning. So it's definitely something that, like us, if you haven't picked it up, I mean, I definitely would like to. You know, you get your list of comics that you eventually want to get around to, and that list keeps growing, and then life happens, and you never quite get around to it. So that's kind of where I'm at. Because this book has been out for a really long time. I can remember seeing it in one of my old comic shops back in Virginia Beach, like many, many moons ago. And Gerard Way is really, he's a great writer, and he's a huge comic book nerd. Most people do know him from his musical career, My Chemical Romance. They wound up breaking up, and he started in with this writing career. He really wanted to put this out there. There was a great interview that he did on, was it Batman with Kevin Smith. That was fantastic, and it really, you get to see a lot more of his personality and his background, and you know, what brought him into the comic world to begin with, and how he started writing what he's been doing. I didn't pay it as much mind when it first came out because, you know, oh, it's this musician who's just writing and whatever.
Yeah, but I loved My Chemical Romance growing up. That was like the one time I felt like I was a badass. Like that, oh my god, I'm gonna bang my head on music. I love that. It really was. I really wasn't. I mean, I just wanted to be.
But I mean, it was great music. But you know, you didn't really expect somebody in that spectrum to flip it and then go this entirely different route and have it be successful. So at this point, I believe you could probably pick up, instead of single issues, you can pick up trades volumes and kind of get this background. Or for some of you out there who really like being surprised, you can just wait. This is slated for a 2018 release. We don't have anything else beyond that. But now that we know that it's in the works, we know that it's been in development for, like I said, those 2 years. And as soon as they saw what they were looking at, Netflix immediately grabbed it.
Netflix is killing it with shows. I mean, they've got this Stranger Things. It's such wonderfully unique and just well written, well directed, well casted kind of, or cast productions. I mean, not all of them, but
Iron Fist.
We're not talking about Iron Fist. Stop it.
We don't mention.
That's The Godfather 3. We've had this discussion.
The fist that shall not be named.
No, stop talking about it, Rob. He's over there. You don't see him, but he's shaking his head.
Yeah.
We're not talking about that. We're talking about other things.
We're talking about Umbrella Academy.
Yes, damn it.
Umbrella Academy. And the guys who have picked this up, the production team so far, is really good. I can't remember offhand what they've worked on before, but it's like some bigger name stuff.
Yeah.
So I'm really looking forward to this. I think with who they've got so far to produce, I don't think they have a director yet, But obviously, they're still in the beginning stages. It's just been picked up. They got to figure out.
They just announced it, so
today, literally,
so we're learning as much
today.
as you guys are.
I found out about this about 2.5 hours ago, so wanted to go ahead and bring that to you. Definitely looking forward to all these things that Netflix is doing. Umbrella Academy. Let's
Check
see
it
how
out.
It goes.
I'm excited.
Yeah, girl.
Hey everyone, so I'm going to give you my top 3 picks for comics that I really have actually looking forward to the most. So I guess number 3 would be the Venomverse. Have you been reading those? Because it's kind of like all these Marvel characters are turning into, they're getting infected and they're becoming Venom. Well, the second one's coming out and I'm really looking forward to seeing Gwenpool turn Venom. I really love the front cover of the comic book. I kind of just want that to be a poster in my home. I love that each one has kind of pushed into the new Venom story that's coming in 2017, and in this comic there's a huge thing that's going to happen, and it's supposed to affect the entire Venom universe for 2017, which the last one was pretty gruesome, and I loved the character development. I loved how intense it was. You know, we had, I don't know, you have these characters turning into Venom and they're already badasses and now they're even more. So, I don't know, I'm really looking forward to this one. Number 2, I know a lot of people hate on it, I don't care, but Planet of the Apes, guys. I love Planet of the Apes. I love the new reboots of the movies. I've really enjoyed them. So we have War of the Planet of the Apes, which is coming out soon. I'm actually super excited for this film.
I think it actually drops this week.
Does it? I'm really excited for this movie. And you know how Marvel does kind of like their prequel comics. So this prequel comic, they're actually doing for War of the Planet of the Apes, because there is a 2-year gap between Dawn of the Planet of the Apes and the war. So they've decided to do a 4-part series to kind of give you what's going on between those 2 years. And we all remember what happened in the last film, where the virus is kind of spreading, everything. Caesar just kind of went off into the woods. There was the war. There was like the peace out humans. And now we got 2 years later, and you've seen the trailers. And the trailers for me are really awesome, where Caesar has an empire, and then the humans kind of are going in, and they're attacking, being asshats like usual. Humans suck, animals rock. I don't know, this is weird, because you kind of, I mean, if you know Planet of the Apes, you kind of know the outcome. Humans don't do too well. So I'm really curious how they're going to turn this, like, reboot, and how the end is going to, because there's a little girl involved now from the new trailer I saw, and how Caesar's like, we must protect this child, and I'm like, what is the child? What is she? I need to know more. So
she's a hybrid.
I know, she might be like the cure to the disease. I mean, Caesar never seemed to be that kind of like that asshole that just wanted to destroy all mankind. He just kind of saw the evil in man, and he's trying to save his people. So he is a really good leader, in my opinion. I understand people don't like it. I don't care. If you like it, you're part of my team. So it's a 4-part series. I am really excited. I don't care. Number 1, so my favorite thing as a kid I used to do is my parents would drop us off to the BX, I'm a military brat, and it'd be the BX or the PX, and there'd be arcades. And one of my favorite games I used to play there was Centipede. So, and Centipede is a vertical orientated base arcade game. It's a shooter where you get this centipede and you hit the little blood or whatnot and it turns into mushrooms and you have to shoot. It was a lot of fun as a kid, and now they're making, so the author for this one is Max Bemis. So Max Bemis is coming into the world of the Centipede arcade game and kind of expanding on the story of what's going on, and it's really interesting because it's a story of these aliens coming down on the planet. This guy named Dale, you know, you're like, oh, he's the hero, he's gonna save everyone. Well, it's too late, everyone's gone. He's the last man standing. So being the last man standing, all he wants now is pure revenge. And so now he's gotta fight. An article I read this morning, Max has said there will be lots of mushrooms in this comic, so everyone will love that. I think it's gonna be enjoyable. I love the art from what I've seen, all the different, there's multiple different front covers for this too, so a lot of artists are jumping in on it, and I don't know, I love seeing when Atari or any kind of video game kind of comes into a comic book form. We get to see an expansion of a story you didn't really get in an old Atari, you know, arcade game when you were growing up. So I'm really looking forward to that. I can't wait to pick it up. I think it's going to be a lot of fun. It's going to be cute, maybe dangerous, gruesome, I don't know. We'll find out. You'll find out, and you'll let me know. Okay.
Do you gotta eat a lot of mushrooms to enjoy the Centipede comic book?
Mushrooms. Alright guys, that's our episode, and I don't know where Brandy went. She was here a minute ago, and now she's not here, so I have to close out by myself, apparently. So, we talked about Game of Thrones. Where's Brandy? Oh.
Hi.
Hi, how are you? I'm good. We're talking about things.
I know.
You need to participate.
Okay.
Alright, so we talked about Game of Thrones.
We did. We talked about Game of Thrones. We talked about Spider-Man. I love Spider-Man. That was just so good.
More importantly, Aunt May.
Let's
Aunt May.
go.
Marissa Tomei.
Oh my god, let's go. Oh my god, it's getting weird. Oh my gosh, our favorite picks. We love
did.
our comics this week.
Yeah, and new shows on Netflix.
Yeah.
And all of them
Yeah,
coming
so-
out all at once. So there's been a lot going on. There's a lot to catch up on, and there's a lot to rewatch.
Yes, we have a lot of rewatching and redoing, and I'm going to have to probably binge in the last season of Game of Thrones, so I'm ready for this Sunday. So love y'all. We'll talk to you and see you next week.
Heck yeah.
All right?
Peace.